Alright guys, Subscriber here again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Friday and looking forward to the weekend ahead. Plenty of stuff to discuss today. A couple of announcements that came out over the last 24 hours or so. One of them is official, one of them is not technically official, but is basically official. Related to, of course, this summit that was going on yesterday, maybe continuing in today in Los Angeles, I believe, for a lot of pro players. And of course, we've heard, and we talked about a couple of days ago, the desk talent that's going along here, the likes of Maven, the likes of Merk, that are supposedly at this event. We talked about that a couple of days ago. Also, of course, some players going along, and some players have been spotted in the background of videos potentially wearing hoodies that may be revealing to their location in the upcoming season. That's the kind of thing we're going to go on to in the coming minutes, of course, surrounding the legendary, infamous to some degree, MBoZe. We'll get into that in a few minutes time. Like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you are new. As always, the YouTube algorithm would greatly appreciate it. And Charlie Intel says the following: Call of Duty Modern Warfare wins Best Audio Design at the 2019 Game Awards. I find this kind of funny because, okay, Best Audio Design, maybe in terms of the campaign, whatever. Obviously, from a competitive standpoint, the footsteps, not necessarily designed in the best way, and a lot of the times don't seem to come from where they actually sound like they should be coming from. The VTOL warship, or whatever it's called in this game, the VTOL jet or something, is just obnoxiously loud. I guess that's realism though, right? So maybe that's why it won Best Audio Design, but I thought I'd at least run that past you guys. So Dallas Empire confirm a new signing. We heard about this. Paul Tischler is going to be signed as their 7th man in exchange, effectively, for the Mutex drama that we had a few weeks ago now. So the Empire grows. Welcome, Tish. It's time to get to work. So, of course, the squad, Clayster, Crimsix, and then the 3 guys of Hook, Illy, and Shotzi, joined, of course, by Tommy on the bench, kind of, substitute, but also probably mainly going to be content creator. Then there was Mutex as well along the side, but now it's going to be Tish. Interesting. He's come off this UYU team, supposedly going to be replaced by MBoZe as, well, that's a different deal. But as you can see here, supposedly going to be replaced by MBoZe, according to CDL Intel. So pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, as I say, he's left UYU, which really raises an interesting question as to whether this is a good move for a guy like Tish. Because you look at the main team, you're like, okay, what are the chances that he actually plays a game all season? He's not a particularly big name. Clearly, maybe some of the guys on the Dallas Empire, the younger guys especially, may nerve him, may think of him as a pretty damn decent talent. They've done a press release about this as well. But of course, what are the chances he actually gets to play a match all season? Especially because Tommy may be a more likely substitute, depending, right? I mean, who are you going to swap out for that team theoretically throughout the season? I guess in theory it may be, who knows? Could it be Clayster? Could it be Crimsix? Who is the most likely player to get subbed out of that team in your mind? If it is one of the older guys, maybe a Clayster, for example, even though I highly doubt that would happen. But if it was, Tommy would maybe be even the most likely replacement. I don't really see the other guys getting substituted out, to be honest, which means, okay, where is Tish exactly sitting here? Of course, he has to prove his worth in terms of what he can add from an analytical, maybe a strategical sense, do a lot of research into the game, but it's a difficult spot for this guy to be in. Yes, he's netting 50 grand, but after tax on that, that's not, it's not a ridiculous amount of money. And he's not going to be able to play pretty much the entire year. No one's going to, want to team with him, of course, because he can't play in the amateur events, because Dallas Empire aren't going to have an amateur squad as far as we're aware. And therefore, he'll just be stuck there without a team, because everyone who could want to play with him, the likes of UYU, will instead just play in the amateur tournaments with their own amateur bracket, potentially even winning more money, in theory, if they do really well, then Tish would be sitting on the bench here. And of course, it's very difficult to prove yourself as an up-and-coming talent if you're on the bench, not necessarily contributing much. At the end of the season, Dallas Empire may look back and say, well, okay, what did Tish contribute for that 50 grand? Not really sure what exactly he did. Next season, let's get in a different substitute and let's see what we can do, maybe with someone who might be able to add more from an analytical sense, maybe what they were going for with Mutex being that S&D analyst, I guess, but also technically a substitute. So interesting. Was this a good move for Tish? Who knows? Maybe he's not the most well-known of the amateur guys, so it might make sense for him, especially in his own mind, if he gets offered this and now he's thinking, well, what are the chances I really break out as an amateur this season? Maybe not the best. Maybe it's just better to net the money and, I can explore other ventures and use my connections within the Dallas Empire to try and extend a career that way. Probably a good decision in that sense, but if you're a really hot prospect, maybe a bigger name than Tish in the amateur community, then I would be thinking twice about this situation. Yeah, so Tish will be Dallas Empire's second substitute. Activision Blizzard Esports League announced that the team passes have sold out in just 24 hours for the Rokkr Open weekend. 192 open teams at this event. That really shows that interest in Call of Duty competitive is still at a sky-high level. People going all the way up to Minnesota to play some open bracket tournament. Hopefully this will continue around the world, but pretty insane, right? 192 teams, 960 players, almost 1,000 competitors going to be descending on this event. It will be 1,000 given all the pro teams that are going to be there as well. So really, really cool to see. January 24th to 26th, of course, and in light of that, we had this as well. So Blast will be the substitute for the Los Angeles Guerillas. We wanted to look at the video here in just a second. So this was what Call of Duty League tweeted out. Of course, they had this player summit. They did a lot of media stuff, which we'll go into in a second. And this was part of it. Effectively, I don't want to share the entire video, but basically what Ake says here is, here with the Los Angeles Guerillas, we got a little bit of a surprise for you guys. So as you can see here, we've got the entire team, and Blast comes in, hoods up, baby, and shows us on the team. So we've got Ake, we've got Lacefield, we've got Aqua, we've got Decimate, we've got Saints. So, that's going to be the squad for the upcoming season. And Blaz comes in seemingly as their substitute. And I guess this is Bevel's over here as well that we couldn't quite see on screen. I know, that looks like Ricky. Bevel's clearly not in the shot in this occasion. But very interesting, of course, Blaz being their substitute makes sense as connections with these guys from before. It's just going to be interesting to see. A team with Akes on has traditionally been good for 1 or 2 events every year. Been really solid against, the likes of the OpTic Gamings. Whether that will continue this season is really, looking forward to seeing how it works out. Of course, Los Angeles are the Guerillas, but also the OpTic Gaming, and that long-term connection between Akes and OpTic Gaming and that rivalry. Will it continue with a different roster? We'll have to see how it goes. This is the stuff I wanted to talk about with MBoZe then. So this video comes out from Slack. It's only a 3-second long video. It's looking at Karma, and we see many individuals in the background here. And the main individual that a lot of people are looking at is this individual right here, that being MBoZe Marcus Blanks walking in the background. We can see, I'm not sure who this is. It almost looked like Josh, but I'm not exactly sure. Don't want to zoom in fully. We've got Joey Nubsy, we've got Arcetes, you can see formally in the background, and MBoZe is coming in for the kill. So what I wanted to share with you guys is this image right here. Now, this is effectively the best I could do. I will, of course, leave this tweet linked down below if you guys want to delve into the nitty-gritty and into the detail. And it probably is easier to see the detail on his hoodie if we're doing this kind of investigation in like a video form rather than a screenshot. But this is kind of the best I could manage. So we've got Arcetes here, we've got Formal here. This is MBoZe, even though you can't really see his face. The hoodie, of course, is interesting. So we've got a lanyard around his neck. Then you can kind of see like a white line over here, and then it looks like there's green underneath and maybe a little brown or gold or something like that. A lot of people looking at this thinking, is this the Huntsman hoodie? So let's have a look at it. So this is what the Chicago Huntsman hoodie looks like. Now maybe he has an alternate version of this, because I just don't, this white line right here, I don't see how that is on the front unless it was, unless for whatever reason that he had a hoodie that was flipped and it was in fact the logo on the front, and this little gold line in this light was coming up a little bit white. So who knows, could this be the hoodie? Of course, there's another couple of images here of Scump wearing the hoodie and also Formal wearing the hoodie right here. I'll have to zoom out, but yes, I guess this Chicago in the gold along the top, is that even slightly different to what I have here? Okay, yeah, okay. So what it looks like is that this image I took off Google, they've actually swapped the colors around for this one, which would make sense if it was gold along the top, as it may be in this image. That could be what we're looking at there. And, of course, we're doing almost mindless analysis of, about 10 pixels. But still, could be interesting, right? There's definitely some green going on here. So what other teams could that realistically be? I guess Huntsman's the biggest team, I think, with the green kind of branding. Definitely looks green from this perspective. I will leave it linked down below if you guys want to check it out in some detail, because it is quite interesting to look into, I believe, and where MBoZe will end up. If he has managed to swindle his spot onto the Chicago Huntsmen, it would be pretty incredible if he's managed to do that. We do know that, of course, they have the main 5-man roster, the Gunler, Scump, Formal, Arcetes and Envoy squad, but then, of course, we have Tupac Thuglord as the analyst, Sender as the coach. No announced substitutes yet. 2 spots still to figure out, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if Tupac is technically a substitute, but I don't think he is. So they've still got 2 spots to announce, or at the very least 1, if I'm getting things wrong, which means that it's possible that MBoZe could be here, right? Which would be pretty incredible scenes. If he manages to do this, then you've got to say that there's a lot of a friendship league going on. I can understand MBoZe getting a substitute spot somewhere. He, of course, has the credentials. He has the fan base behind him. He has a lot of, people who still support him back from the OpTic days. He also seems to be a pretty decent search and destroy player in this game. But to walk into Chicago Huntsmen, if he does, contenders for one of the best teams in the game, as a lot of former OpTic, now NRG fans are hoping they will be pretty incredible if you walked in there as a substitute spot, and it would probably show a large degree of influence from Hector and Scump and people who he's been associated with in the past. So yeah, just to finish off here with Call of Duty League, it's League Media Day. Stay tuned to our social channels for a behind the scenes look at the action. That's kind of what we've just seen with Los Angeles Guerillas, and some other players have done that as well. Player Summit and content capture, which sounds interesting. And just to finish off with this before we finish the video then, London Scrap says, this meeting got me feeling all gassed for 2020. Wow. Now, I did talk about yesterday how there is, nowadays, if you're getting paid a lot of money to be in the league, you are a representative of the league. You are expected to tweet, not negative things about the league. So, I kind of feel to some degree that players went along to this meeting and they got a reinforcement like, look guys, I see a lot of negativity towards the game. We can't tolerate this. It's not a good look for our esport, and it's not helping fix the game, which, okay, fair enough. And Scraps comes out and says this, so to what degree is this influenced by what he could have been told over the last couple of days? To what degree is this completely his personal opinion? And Parasite says, still got to play Modern Warfare. Niall, players reading this, pretty funny tweet. So this is the one to go on with. Louis CM, a very notable player in the European region over the last few seasons. The question is, are they fixing the game? Yes, bro, Scrap says, and that's what's kind of interesting about this tweet, to be honest, when it says content capture. Have they been making some fixes behind the scenes and are expecting the professionals to get a look at the new game? Maybe they're playing new maps, new modes, whatever possible, right? Why would there be content capture if it was just the same old game as we've typically been used to? So hopefully Scraps is excited for good reasons. Hopefully we have good reasons to get excited for the season ahead. Maybe there is fixes coming. Hopefully getting all these pros in the room has got to the point where Activision are like, okay, yes, we understand the concerns. I'm sure that they weren't just sitting there and not talking about the concerns at all. Some of them pretty big name players, of course. Every single professional player right now has issues with the game they would like to be fixed. So I'm sure they tried to get those points across to the guys in Activision. Hopefully that will be passed on to the Infinity Ward team in due course, and things will be fixed in the coming days and weeks for the season ahead. We're a month and a half pretty much out from the season beginning, of 5-6 weeks, something like that, so still a long way to go as yet, but now is the time really that for the CDL to really kick off in a good fashion. We need to get fixes coming in now and fast, because we know what happens. You fix one part of the game, another part of the game breaks, and there's still plenty of issues to fix going forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, if you enjoyed, of course, the YouTube algorithm, appreciate it, and so do I. Subscribe if you're new, I would greatly appreciate it, and I seem to say that a lot, but it truly does mean a lot. And yeah, thanks for watching as always. I will see you next time.